Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. For today's vlog, I will be biking again. But aside from biking, I will give you some insight on why bike riding have become trendy nowadays. So without further ado, let's go ride. Well, gyms have been closed, and bike riding has continually helped individuals to exercise without leaving their community and without having to touch anyone closely, so practicing social distancing. And with fewer vehicles on the highways, it has also become safer. As we have been experiencing from last year until today, we are still amidst the Covid-19 pandemic that reshaped our cities in many ways. While the quantity of motor vehicles on the road has plummeted since the lockdown, a growing number of people have been into bike riding and walking quickly and safely moving through once congested streets. The shift has brought visible changes. Local air pollution has fallen by up to 60% nationwide, and cities that used to be coated with a dense blanket of smog have seen their first blue skies in a long time. But amid the catastrophe, there's been a small bright spot: bike riding. Specifically bicycles. Individuals buy new ones, patch old ones, and travel more than ever. During the coronavirus pandemic, cyclists around the world have taken to bicycles to get around in order to stay fit and remain free of infection. The boom has pushed bike sales sky high and offered fresh hope to long-time biking advocates. Generally speaking, solo bike riding is an ideal pandemic activity. As you can see, I am one of those people who do bike riding during this difficult time. It's a perfect alternative to riding in a car for commuting, and the existence of a bike itself mostly enforces physical space, which in turn becomes your own social distancing equipment. At the moment, cycling has proven so appropriate that demand for bikes and the resulting strain on the supply chain have made a good bike almost as difficult to come by as face masks, hand sanitizers, or toilet papers. I'm far from the only person who's encouraging pandemic bike riding, but riding a bike simply feels amazing. But what is going to happen now that cities are coming out of lockdown gradually? Many urban residents currently believe that public transport places them at a higher risk of being infected and that private cars are viewed as safer. Recent data shows that Perth residents are jumping like never before on their bikes, compared with the same time last year. A string of sunny conditions, coronavirus restrictions, and 3 public holidays have resulted in average cycling volumes tripling in many suburbs. Past data from the city of Fremantle indicates that every typical day in 2019, there were 250 bike riders using the Leighton Beach shared path on every average day. That is 2019. In April and May last year, the number rose to 740 a day. Similarly, 1,200 cyclists rode the South Perth foreshore in 2019 on a daily average. In April last year, the number jumped to 2,518 and almost tripled to 3,079 per day at the beginning of May. Similar rises are shown by data obtained on other cycling routes across the area, including from the city of Joondalup and South Fremantle. However, a cycling network survey conducted in Melbourne compared the number of bike riders on the main bike paths across the city from November last year up to this moment found a 270% rise. On the Kangaroo Point and Kedron Brook bikeways, cycle traffic has almost doubled in Brisbane and risen by 50% on the Bicentennial Bikeway. Also, Parramatta Council has seen a rise in bike traffic of between 50 and 60% in Sydney's west, while the Sydney City Council estimates an increase in cycle traffic of between 25 and 50% despite a decrease in the total movement of people, lower air pollution levels, less congestion, and a higher quality of life. Some evidence shows that many individuals are turning to bike riding to fill the gap as a resilient and reliable alternative. This phenomenon has different explanations. One is mass transit ridership is in freefall amid national stay-at-home orders, leaving critical staff in search of a socially distant way to get around. And second is many people are searching for lockdown-compliant ways to get outside, and keep everyone as safe and happy as possible, particularly families with young children at home. When they venture out, even committed riders who have been cycling for years are witnessing an environment they have never seen before. Roads with fewer traffic even though it's close to vehicles, vehicle lanes turned into temporary bike lanes, air that is cleaner than it was at any point in decades. Now the question is, are these new bike riders going to stick to the bike until things have settled in some sort of new normal? And can their numbers and the current riding environment that we all witness contribute to constant constructive progress and safer pedaling places? Some in the world of cycling think that the answer to both questions is yes. I do think the same as well. But for that to happen, this opportunity has to be seized by both businesses and cities. During this time, when a lot of city leaders are rethinking many past assumptions, this trend is a unique opportunity to embrace bike riding as a very important part of transport systems, not just an accessory. Cities need more resilient, more equitable mobility, not only to weather the current storm, but to prepare for future challenges. The boom is primarily a domestic phenomenon as well. After the end of the lockdown, it's very difficult to walk the streets of a big city without seeing the lines of cyclists. The lockdown time gave many individuals the chance to get on a bike as a reactionary practice. But after that time of self-sufficiency, people began using their bicycles as a way to travel without sanitary problems in daily life. The demand for bikes has seldomly increased this rapidly, suggesting more diverse buyers for the bikes. Through the lockdown, for the first time since the advent of the car, city dwellers have witnessed urban space free from loud traffic. Walking and biking have been rediscovered by many, filling streets with people rather than vehicles. The pandemic gave us a peek at what a pedestrian-friendly, bike-friendly city with less traffic deaths, less congestion, and a healthier urban climate could look like in the midst of all the chaos. Vehicle data reveals that on the 3 main highways leaving Perth, there was an 89% decrease in the Easter weekend traffic. This meant that most people remained in Perth, where many attractions and cafes, restaurants were closed. What better thing to do than go for a trip such a sunny long weekend? With bikes, known as the fresh toilet paper, cycling shops around the world struggle to keep up the demand for sales and services of bikes. To cater for additional cyclists, cities such as Melbourne, Milan, Gotha, and New York are introducing pop-up cycle lanes to give them that space needed to maintain social distancing while on their bikes. So, what does this mean for cycling's future? After the coronavirus passes, will growth be sustained? Some of the cyclists definitely hope so, but says it is based on investing in bike infrastructure by local councils and main roads to keep riders safe and involved in cycling. It supports the creation of investment strategies to take advantage of the increased acceptance of riders and pedestrians. The UK is investing $2 billion in infrastructure for successful travel. France and Italy offered up to €500 a person to buy or learn to ride a bike. And New South Wales have established a fund of $15 million to pay statewide pedestrian and cycling initiatives. Transport professionals everywhere know that we need to strike while the iron is hot and enhance cycling as an activity for all cyclists. Over the past months and weeks, the safer, healthier biking experiences I have enjoyed can't be unfelt. I know that other cyclists felt the same too. And to the degree that this has forced people to reconsider car-centered transport assumptions, to see how much public space we have ceded in the form of roads and often free parking, and how other modes of transportation have been ignored, it may provide the basis for significant change. Although the normalization of the bike as the chosen mode of transport is very dependent on a hospitable infrastructure for biking, it would be hard for us cyclists to get our voices heard by riding without a signal, against traffic and ignoring traffic signals. In addition to improvements in infrastructure, education about correct road use, and subjecting cyclists to safety responsibilities should also be prioritized. With the COVID-19 crisis, and especially in urban areas, we could offer a lot more arguments that the bike industry is booming. Trust me, biking is providing a critical lifeline to many cities during a critical time. But it's also a resilient mode of transport that will continue to have urban advantages that go beyond mobility in the future too. The lockdown of today's COVID-19 could expose solutions that have far-reaching benefits far into the future for cities. leading the way towards more resilient, open, and stable urban transport. This should not just be a passing fad. Now that the pandemic has opened our eyes to the importance of non-motorized transport, we have a limited window of opportunity to transform short-term reactions into a long-term change and build a more livable, breathable cities for everyone. Want to learn more? Make sure to write your comments below. And before I end this video, please consider hitting the like button below and click subscribe to my channel for more biking vlogs. Thank you for watching.